I have hit a snag. At time of recording, I've been working on this, the Fire Guy Creative Journal. Good hello and welcome to Experiments. It is time for experiments. I need to make a disintegrating effect with the particle generator. Yes, the particle generator. I am not very well practiced in it, so my goal is to have the fire go up. Everything underneath the flames is black, so it's turned to like soot ash, and I want it to crumble away. Now, doing it frame by frame will be very tiresome, so I want to see if I can somehow make a particle generator to do that for me. But there's a lot of tinkering to do, so indeed, time for experiments it is. I'm going to grab a particle generator with a base gravity set that should give us the foundations that I want. And I'm just going to be mucking around a bit with all of the different settings until I will hopefully get something half decent. Okay. Now everything's too cluttered indeed. So I need a display, a composite there. So we can flick over to display 1 and see our field relatively distraction free. Now inside of the particle effect, I have this. Okay, so sprite emitter is just the dots for now, which is fine. They're very, very small. Very, very big when it's just in OpenGL view. But I need to somehow get it so it will move up over space and start slow and slowly crumble away, fitting in with the region that we want. So I'm gonna get a new node. Oops, sorry, don't want you. I'm gonna put my node library down here so we can get a bit of a clearer view on all the different parts that I'll need, of which there will be many particles. I need all of the different particle types. So all the bits that plug into them, the modifiers, yes. Or maybe even in basic. Where's planar region? That's what I want. The 2D region as opposed to the 3D one. But what has that created? So it all just kind of rains down in that effect. That's better, I think. If we give it a shape around about that for now. And I also, the main thing of course is that it animates up over time. So it can create that kind of sooty, effecty thingy. Where are you? There. Keyframe there, and let's see if it will indeed move up. It looks like it will, which is good. There we go. But it's very, very sporadic. I need to get it down to something a bit more sensible. All of these things appear to already be animated parameters already, and I don't know why. Is that because it's the gravity setting that's already come with it? Initial parameters rendering. Yes, there's going to be a lot of looking at boxes and trying to figure out what they all mean. Because I never stick around with this thing long enough to really get used to it. I'm going to make a few of them local because it doesn't really look like they're changing over time. It's possible that it only happened because I tried, because I put that peg in. For some reason that decided to animate the things. Alright, I will do that at the end, apparently. Possibility of generating a particles is 100, but there'll be a lot less, about 30 or so. I will indeed need a sprite because it's going to be little chunks of stuff. Little chunks of stuff that do stuff. In order to see it, I want to give myself more displays. Where is favorites gone? There you are. Composite display. Display 2. And in here, just some very simple, chunky shapes like this, I think will do. But I want a couple of them. This I don't get. This happens sometimes where there's particular displays where it just doesn't want to show the layer, and I have no idea why that's a thing. If anyone knows why, please tell me, because I have a feeling it is a bug. Shape. Okay. Hopefully that's enough. Swap that over for the sprite emitter. Back to display 1 so we can see everything in question and the emitter settings from render as dot to the actual shape. And there's a few different ways to do it. Do we want frame number? No, we want... It might be particle type. One of them will take every frame and use it as its own, piece. So each one it generates is a random selection of the different frames. Size over age, no. Oh, actually, yes, we want that to be like 0.3 or something. I don't know why that didn't work. Use age. That should be the one. Is that the one? Apparently not. I must be missing something really obvious. It couldn't just be because they're later on, are they? Ah. Apparently that was the reason why. Okay, onion skin off. So, it does seem to be taking a random selection of the particles and firing them down quite quickly. So we need to turn down the gravity. Trigger 1, that just simply means on. Y direction -1, so 0.5. Okay, that hasn't done anything. It seems to have simply lowered the distance that it will fall to. Is that right? Yeah, so they go down to a certain point because they are dying very early. They're not lasting very long before they disappear again. I believe that is underneath, it was underneath one of these tabs. I can never remember what's applicable to rendering and what's applicable to generation. I think it might be rendering. Because streak seed generator, streak size, source samples per frame. That couldn't be it, could it? No. There's something about age. It might even be sync actually. Because that's probably going to show some kind of region of where it will stop. But removing it has done squat. So that isn't it. So it must be in the sprite emitter. Normal size over age. Positive X, use drawing color. There is something about, you know, how many frames each thing will last until it disappears again. But I can't see that mentioned anywhere. I can't remember where it would be. Maximum lifespan? Is that it? I think that tab might be new. Set maximum lifespan 60. 100? That's not done anything either. Alright, set you back to how you were. Particle mass, amount of rotation, age at birth, standard deviation. What is causing it to disappear there? It might actually be the region. Because it's the bottom of that? What if I make it taller? No. It's done a thing. Okay, that has nothing to do with anything. Let's have a quick look at these other ones. Move particles, I think that just means yes it will. Move position and angle. Velocity is important. We want to have it go a bit faster. Now it doesn't seem to have any keyframes set, but these are, you know, they are functions. Use input shape, constant speed. No, we don't want constant speed. We want it to speed up slowly over time. Is that what that is? Interlope speed? Nope. Learning is fun, isn't it? Random direction is all 2D. Not really. We only want it to go down. How do I increase the range so that they all go further than that? At the moment, they're only lasting about like 1 or 2 frames each. It's moving very slow, very quickly. We want to slow it down a lot. Relative gravity, let's muck around with these a bit. Okay, nothing. Relative gravity to distance. Nope. Magnitude, will that do anything? Apparently not. I think these would all do something. Apparently not. Apply gravity. Okay. What's this region? What does that mean? Just a tiny little space in the middle? I am pretty lost. This is the most lost I've been in a little while. Okay, reactivate this region. Know what that one's doing. I really thought it was this maximum lifespan to, you know, punch that up and it will last longer. But it ain't. It really, really isn't. Copy particle velocity for thing, align initial velocity. Particle Baker might have something. But no, it doesn't either. What could it be? What could it be? Source samples per frame. Let's just muck around with all of these and see what happens. Nothing. Streak seed. Some of these terms sound new. It's possible that it's changed in the last couple. Possibility of generating 8 particles. Yeah, that's what we want. Good. How do I control its speed? Is he doing that? Is it? It's not even slowing it down. It just decreases how much it goes. So it should be velocity that stops it, right? But for some reason these are all like I can't get to them. Let's get to it this way. Trigger velocity on. Wait, saying I can't change its velocity? What's the point of that? Direction or normal friend wall directions. Use input shape. Is that what it is? Like I can't. X nothing. Z nothing. Y negative 0.5. Maximum 1. Still very strange. Now it's done even something even more unusual because each of the 3 different frame types are grouped together for some reason. This is getting more and more mysterious, which I'm not too fond of. Yuck. Alright, nuts to this. I'm gonna try something else. Delete all those. I'm gonna try just a regular basic particle effect. Particle, basic particle. Ungroup. Okay. So now I've got the absolute bare bones of a system with its planar region, which we still want to be there. But now this time we can make its movement ourselves. And hopefully it will be less of a butt. I really don't know though. Okay, modifier. Gravity. Moving down quite constantly, 0.5. Ah, okay, so already we're making more progress. That is now going down indefinitely. And looks like it is just going to keep going. So that's good. We've already gotten past the first hurdle. So we want gravity to be fairly low. So like that, probably even lower, 0.1. Hey, that's nice. It looks like it has an increased gravity as well, like it is speeding up as it goes. So that's probably what this is, perhaps. Or perhaps not. Relative gravity minimum distance, is that what that is? See, this it's not changing. Why isn't it changing? Relative gravity magnitude. Maybe that's what it is. See, I changed these numbers and then nothing's happening. Do I have to turn that on? Whoa! What happened then? What? So relative gravity just fires it everywhere? What the heck? Okay. So move particles is simply to on. Sprite emitter, let's pump this down to something more appropriate. Change from dots to use age? Is that what we wanted? So possibly the way we selected the particle type is a bit of a problem. What are all these other sets? Something's happening. Size over age is 0.2. 0.15. Progress. Time to go. Okay, I solved it. I took a bit of a break to not bore everyone. So, turns out that in order to get all of the different shapes to appear as random particles is this section under Generate. Starting from frame 1, ending frame 3, as I have 3 frames worth of stuff. So now it's scattering them all about and is working more or less how I want it. So now is to pin it to the main character, and we'll see how that goes. Ultimately, what I'd like to do is have it mask to the shape of the character as well. So we'll only generate around, his form. Let's see how that goes, because we also want to have the, the animation of it moving up. So set everything up. Peg is to move. How will this go? How does it do it? Oh, there we go. Picks it up. Start there. Oh, select both. I guess we should time it correctly. Starting from here, I guess. There. And completing probably by here. Oh, come on. Okay, that seems to be about right. This general region needs to span across the entire character like so. Don't need these keyframes, but its size needs to remain consistent. Up, 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 up. Great. All right. So is its timing appropriate? Yeah. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Just need to condense it a lot. How the heck am I going to be able to mask its region? I wonder. Alright, got a couple of ideas. First, get a bit more room because I'm going to unpack this thing. Ungroup it. Where have you gone? There you are. Hello. Alright, how will I mask it? I'm assuming region can be pinned to something like this. So if I do that, will that make its region according to the actual body shape? Possibly. But I have a feeling it can only go through a raw vector, probably not a composite of something. Doesn't really seem to be affecting anything. What if I'll make a blank shape, put that into its region and just kind of draw and see what happens, see if the particles change behavior at all. Exposure all the way across. And nothing seems to change. If you don't have that though, what happens then? Ah, no, hang on, I remember. There's a setting under here where it's rectangle or image. And now rains out of that moving shape. It's not exactly what we want though, is it? No. No. That isn't what I want. So if I have it go to the image and then tween that, then it's just going to move the entire body upwards. But But is there a way to get the rectangle to be cut to the shape of an image? I don't think so. I need to have the movement of the image mask move separately to everything else. So not involving these two. Neither of these can exist for it to work. Let's see. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Okay. Enough bumming around. Time to get to work. Okay, so over here, a part of the main character set, there's the color scale, which works to the mask, creating just this black part on its own. So if I get a display underneath, oh yeah, of course, also with a composite and color card to boot, I get this shape. Now I want that to also be cut away from the shape of the fire, so I'll need another cutter here with where is the fire shape there. So that cuts away, leaving us with this. So now we have another silhouette which will only ever reveal where the flame is concluded. But still, this isn't exactly what I want, is it? But still, this isn't exactly what I want, because it needs to become black and then flake off after the fact. The particles can't become visible as soon as it appears. There needs to be something else. So let's do the same rectangle generator, but formulate it with our own vectors instead. So I really need to put the ellipse tool shortcut here. I'm stuck with just doing these ones instead. Which is a little time consuming. Okay, so I guess I need to have this shape move up over time if it's going to mimic what the generator was doing. Where is all the stuff? That's right, let's just wing it. I feel like I'm rushing for the sake of the microphone, and I don't like wasting my audience's time, but I feel that's what this entire show is all about. Okay, keyframe there, and tween up to the top. So reveals and chars all quite well. Oh, no, that's too late. That's better. All right. So with that in mind, we just need one more cutter, this time revealing everything inside where the rectangle and the body cross over, like so. I guess that means we no longer need this cutter though. That makes no difference. So that goes up and will reveal particles everywhere along that shape. So theoretically, this image should work if the region, the planar region works with any sort of composite region and not simply a regular vector image. We are about to find out. Huh. Nothing. Nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? Because it's coming from a cutter, does it just see it as no image at all? That really puts a hole in our plan, if that is true. So there that goes, making particles as it does. It's because we don't need the peg now, do we? Oh, right. It's just an image. It won't even correspond to its peg information. This is hard. We need something else. All right. Theory time. If this entire thing hasn't been a theory. All right. Now, images often work. So like if each image was its own thing, rather than registering keyframe movement and all that kind of stuff. So theoretically, I could take the shape, export it as a MOV, and then import that mask as it's a series of bitmap. But a symbol might work too. So going back to display 1, where we see this happening. If I turn it into a symbol, it should work. It might work, we'll see. But in order to do that, I can't just take, you know, these threads that already exist. I'm going to have to take, duplicates of everything. So I'm going to need maybe a copy will work. So I'll take a copy of these and a copy of this rectangle mask. Basically this entire system here. Select all that and edit. Oop. Create symbol. Oh, why aren't you doing it? I think it needs to be visible for it to work. Display 1. There we go. There we go. Create symbol. Particle mask. So now inside of the library, under symbols, we should have particle mask, which has compressed everything into a single drawing layer with its own independent timeline. So if my logic is right, the planar region should be able to treat it as just a series of images. Let's see. Damn it. Ah! This is very exhausting. But where is it? I'm inside the symbol, but I see nothing. Where is it? It's all visible. Everything's turned on. Everything's working correctly. Where are you? Don't tell me it's something silly like the rectangle only being visible for one frame. No, that's not it. But hang on, where's the rectangle? It exists, it's there. But it's not showing up. Okay, there you are. Of course. Oh, right. Did I delete its peg? On its surface level. Oh, its peg was all the way over here. That's why. So, back inside the symbol once again. Okay, I took a bit of a break to figure it out, and it wasn't too good, unfortunately. Symbols didn't work. Importing, so I tried exporting and then re-importing a video of that mask movement as a MOV. That didn't work. Tried re-importing it as a vector. That didn't work. I really thought that would. So eventually I just said, screw it. I looked at the, the slug animation, this one of this movement, put a new layer on top and literally just scribbled a mask manually based on each shape, which looks like this. So each one of these is literally just, you can see the crudeness to the shape. It is just me having painted over it. Didn't take very long. There was more time spent in trying to figure it out than there was to just draw it. So, oh well, that's the way it goes. But luckily enough, that does work. Like that. the sootiness travels up along with the character like so. So now I need to get that shape compressed and small enough to actually look like it is believably crumbling away from the main body, and also to mask the sooty stuff away at an appropriate time, so it will reveal the skeleton underneath. I should probably do the reveal away first, because it looks like this. So I believe this will be based on this part, this slug here. So seeing as it breaks away, revealing through there, I probably will take a... Let's see. That moves. That's the bit of the moving. So I will simply take something else that is on the same shape. Sorry, with the same movement. And it will kind of just cut straight through. Zoom out. Yeah, cut straight through where the soot mask is, and be large enough so that it should fill up the entire character. There we go. So that does indeed cover the whole character. So now that needs to cut away from the soot version. So another cutter. This one will eat away from what? This one. So there. Fingers crossed. All right. Cool. That is working. But it also needs to cut away from this one, like the original raw thread. So therefore, that goes there, and this original thread will also go into there. There we go. Everything gets carved away. But, I probably don't want that one to get carved away. Or do I? No. Still making mistakes. What do I want? I want both to disappear at that point. I don't want it to go back to normal. Why would it go back to normal? What's causing it to go back to normal? Is it this? The original slug? So I just need to unpin that. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. That's all right. Awesome. Okay. So that's working pretty well. Now to muck around with this stuff, particularly within the emitter, in order to condense its shapes and sizes to be a bit more believable. So probably more particles. 30, yeah. Maybe even 40. Yeah, that looks about right. And make it even smaller still. Let's see, 0.05? Ooh, that's very small, isn't it? There we go, 0.8. And I guess regarding that size, pump it up even more. Let's say 70 particles per frame. 80? Yeah, okay. How does that go? Come on, play. Okay. That is starting to work. Something's missing. It's got something to do with the whole straight line appearing across the bottom of his head. That looks super, super strange. I'm going to take the manual mask and put a raw version of it going right down to the main display with a transparency thrown into the mix. That should... Okay, so now I can just get a bit of a glimpse on where particles are being generated from, where that's happening in relation to the main body. I'm going to get the main body, which is this thread here, and also put a transparency on that, so I can see how the particles are behaving underneath, and just how everything is going all at once. And try and figure out for myself. How should I go about breaking it all up? What if the particles started larger and then got a bit smaller? Let's give that a go. So there is a size over time, I think. Size of age. Here we go. So this can be turned into a function. And then I think over the age of the frame. I'm hoping this is over the age of the individual particle, not over the age of the animation itself. Let's find out. So over, let's say 20 frames, it will start at a value of 1.5 and go down to, yeah, 0.8. What will happen there? Will that work? Does each individual particle start big and get small as it falls? I think it might be. I feel like I should make it a very extreme number just to actually test that what it's doing is indeed what I want it to do. Now they appear to be staying big the entire time. Like it's meant, like that's happening over the course of the 3 frames. Yeah. Wait, what? No, that's confusing. Help me out here. What are you doing? Maybe that many frames is just too many, like each particle doesn't stay on screen for that long. But then why did they start big and then drastically get very, very small? That doesn't make sense. See, look how suddenly they change size. It just gets so small so quickly. It looks like it is doing what I want it to. They all get down to a certain point and then become small. So I want it to be less frames than that. A lot less frames than that. And go from, let's say, a value of 0.02 to 0.04. See what happens there. That's working. Yeah. I think that might be doing more what I want it to. It just shrinks down very suddenly, doesn't it? Because it gets down to 0.4 and then it stops at that size. So it would be good if it sort of continued to get smaller throughout their entire drop, but not dramatically. So perhaps in that case, I should take the 0.4 and spread it out over a much wider course of frames, but then at the frame 5 mark, give that 0.08. So it sort of tapers down. We'll give that a bit more of an ease like this. So it falls into that. Really just has a nice gradual slowdown. Give that a smooth, so it'll taper like that. Yeah. Okay. I'm feeling more confident now. There's so many around the feet. Okay. I think this is starting to work. The region is probably too big in places. See, these are appearing on the side of the body like that. But what's weird to me is these are appearing off the edge of the image and these ones are only appearing on the very, very edge. So perhaps on this section here, for the region peg, I should just give it a universal nudge to the left. And hopefully the particles themselves will just sort of line up with the body a little bit better. Yeah, okay. Now, a little bit of cleanup. Don't need this, don't need this, don't need all these old slugs and things. Off you go. That, don't need the transparency or that going to the bottom. What else? I gave something else to transparency just for testing, didn't I? This. go. I just sort of rearrange this entire cluster just to make it a bit more easy on the eyes. Wait, what's this? Uh-oh. I've forgotten what this does. Oh, that was that thing. What? What is that? Why does that need to be... I'm just gonna leave that. I can't remember. I guess if I need it again, I can just leave it floating in space. And that's all good. A whole lot of obsolete slug imports here. Bin those. Oh. And take the particle generator down to somewhere a bit more cozy. Alright, so upon render view, we now have him turn black. Starts to crumble up in quite a satisfactory way. And at last, need to put in the skeleton being revealed underneath. Where is that? There it is. Skeleton head, skeleton body. Show me your frames. There. No, way too early. So it starts to crumble off and appear for the first time. There. Awesome. Oh man, I'm really happy with that. Sweet. If I do anything more ambitious, it would probably be to put a floor in at the bottom of the particles. I'm going to come back to that at the end though, because that's not as necessary. So, yeah, if I don't do that, thanks for coming by. Hope you enjoyed this journey of mucking around with particles. See you next time.